get the seats up stage and this out. I don't know if we should start to play the bios so that we don't waste time. After. Okay, I think we are set. To play the bios of our panelists. Bio.
Tunde Rema is a renowned leader with expertise in business and personal leadership, mental health, communication, strategy and execution, publicity, community building, and style and technology. His organization also provides services in data management, media management, corporate communications, and content development for brands in various countries. He is a distinguished strategy support expert for Circa Africa, a prestigious firm known for providing mental and emotional health support, processes, and coaching for both organizations and individuals. Tunde Rema is also the founder of Mental Health X Faith, a global movement that emphasizes the importance of integrating faith and professional aid in resolving mental health conditions. He is a strategy support expert for Risk Guard Consulting, a global consulting firm based in Europe, specializing in the identification, analysis, and management of social, economic, and legal risks. In addition to his business pursuits, Tunde Rema is a highly sought-after speaker and corporate trainer. He enjoys singing to himself and traveling. He has a heart that beats for friendship, strong interpersonal skills, and is always ready for a good meal and new experiences. Ladies and gentlemen, Please welcome Tunde Rema. Serves as the Finance and Compliance Manager at Positive Care and Development Foundation, an NGO sponsored by USAID, KNCV, and Miraklafi. A devoted lover of God, Juliana also serves in Koinonia as a prayer band member. Chartered accountant, certified by ICANN, and a first-class honors graduate from Bingham University. She is the founder and CEO of Limitless Joels, a brand renowned for real estate, financial advisory, and business consultancy. She currently serves as the Finance and Compliance Manager at Positive Care and Development Foundation, an NGO sponsored by USAID, KNCV, and Miraklafi. A devoted lover of God, Juliana also serves in Koinonia as a prayer band member. With over 4 years of experience in finance and compliance across the NGO, real estate, and oil and gas sectors, she brings integrity, excellence, and strategic insight to every role she plays. Fondly called Limitless Joels, she is widely known for her exceptional problem-solving abilities, her catalytic mindset, and her gift for crafting innovative strategies that meet challenges head-on. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Juliana Orha. Is a dedicated social impact strategist and policy advocate, committed to fostering sustainable development and societal transformation across Africa. As the founder of Elevate Development Foundation, she leads a youth-driven nonprofit organization focused on educating, enlightening, and empowering vulnerable Nigerians in underserved communities, starting with Makoto. Under her leadership, Elevate has directly impacted over 7,000 lives, providing educational support, skills training, and essential resources that facilitate personal and community development. In her role as founder of CSI Africa, Abiola oversees a pioneering network of social impact innovators dedicated to societal transformation with eternal relevance. CISI Africa serves as a platform for collaboration, knowledge sharing, and the incubation of innovative solutions addressing Africa's most pressing challenges. Beyond her organizational leadership, Abiola is deeply passionate about mentorship and leadership development. Through Wise Guide Global, she invests in teenagers, helping them discover their unique strengths, live purposefully, and evolve into resilient, values-driven leaders. She is also the host of the Sit with the Truth podcast, also known as SWTT Pod, where she leads meaningful dialogues on identity and societal taboos, all through a Christ-centered lens. Abiola holds a BSc in Accounting and Management and an MSc in Sustainable Development from the University of Sussex. Her expertise spans strategy, finance, and public policy advisory, positioning her as a formidable force in driving equitable and transformative change across the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Abiola Adebi.
bios. I think when I read people's bios like that, it just tells me, I don't lose faith in my generation. I think that's the very first thing it does for me, and I'm just so grateful. I think we can have the lights back on. Thank you so much, Abiola, Juliana, and Satunde Rema. I know he doesn't like that and he's cringing, but thank you for being with us and our siblings online. We are so grateful. That's the very first thing I would like to say. And we're going to be just talking about some sort of, not necessarily, we have reserved science and tech for the second part, but I don't want to segregate it like that. But then we'll talk about the knowledge economy, about real estate, finance, and then social impact work. I think it's very important for us if we're going to be doing what we have been called to do, as I just started to say when we were sharing the word. Please, where are the microphones? No. All right, my first question will be to Miss Abiola Debi, and that question is, let me calm down. Okay. You know, I feel like watching your bio, for me, the first time I read Abiola's bio, it was in a magazine. I was intimidated. I'm like, what? What? Who is this bee? Now she's my age mate. What am I doing with my life? What does it really mean? Somebody can look at that and just be like, we like numbers, we like the PR of social impact. But what does it really mean to create social impact? Because in Nigeria, especially in Africa, it's underprivileged. So people use it for all sorts of things. And we like the PR to say, oh, I'm a philanthropist, I've done this, I've impacted 100,000 people. But what does it really mean to create social impact? And how can a young person do that?
All right. Thank you very much. And hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Hi. All right. Thank you so much for the question. What does it mean to create social impact? So I would answer it by telling you what it does not mean. Social impact is not, it's December, there are many children around, I want to gather my friends, we'll raise 500,000 naira, buy bags of rice and cook jollof rice. And then we'll pack it, and then, bring a DJ, gather the children together, share the J rice, have them dance, and then maybe you bring a clown, and you take the pictures, you put on Instagram, and then maybe you print merchandise, so you put your charity name there, you have volunteers. That is not social impact, all right? Social impact is when you go into a community, or you just look around your environment, you see a real issue. You go to the bottom of the issue and you find a solution that solves that problem substantially and sustainably. So now let me give a practical example. I think I actually did a video about this on my Instagram. You go to buy corn. Who likes corn here? Roasted corn. All right. I did not used to like corn, but my mom kept buying it, and now I'm a lover. All right. You get corn by the roadside. You see this woman, and she's always there with her 6-year-old child, her daughter, selling corn, and it just disturbs you so much. Maybe you then start thinking, let me give her extra money as far you can keep the change. You think that's being nice. Yeah, it's being nice, but it gets to a point you start wondering, why is this girl on the streets? You ask the mom. She says, how Nigeria be now, there is no money to pay school fees and all of that. You say, okay. And then you pay her school fees. Then you now come back, let's say a month or two after, you remember that woman by this thing, let me check. You now see the girl and you see her selling corn again, and it is school time. And you now ask, didn't I pay the school fees? But you know that when I send her to school, I have to give her money for food. So food is a problem again now. You say, okay, let me give her money for food. And then she starts going to school, substantially to some points. But then the mom comes to you and starts saying, the rice you bought has finished, though. And then you have to keep buying rice and rice and rice. Why did I give that whole story? I want to make it as relatable as possible. Social impact requires you to be diligent enough to go to the bottom of the issue. Now, if I were the one trying to create social impact in that situation, chances I would realize, okay, this woman, the money she's earning from her business is not enough to pay the child's school fees and feed the child. And you have to even think transportation, changing school uniform. So probably the real solution is not to pay the school fees, at least long term, but to help that woman's business. Do you see that? You might even eventually find that she has unique ideas beyond just roasting corn that you can invest in. So you have to be diligent enough, go to the bottom of the problem, look around you. As a young person, how can you address the problems around you? To be honest, how many of you go out and you can see at least one problem in your community every day? You can, exactly. You see a lot of problems. The child roasting corn, Agbero was fighting on the road. You guys know Chess in Slums by Tunde Onakoya. You see the children, they are being turned into street urchins and whatnot. It's not because they are useless. They are not. Do you understand? There are a lot of issues around you, and you have the solutions. I mean, how many of us here have a degree? Just raise your hand. Or you're in school. Instantly, I can assure you, your critical thinking abilities are stronger than many people. So if you actually diligently take time aside, pick just one problem, perhaps it's related to the degree you studied, and say, okay, what are the layers of issues in this regard? Okay, what is step 1? What is step 2? What is step 3? You solve it. I got into social impact at 16 years old. I was sharing J-Rice. All right, I was sharing J-Rice, and I got to school and I realized, I got to university, I was like, wait, so with all the education that my parents spent money on, is J-Rice. Do you understand? I eventually started sustainable development, and I realized that if you go into a community like Makoko, there is teenage pregnancy, but what is the real problem? What is the real issue? Is the mind. So we started providing mentorship program. Before we send you to school, before we pay for, give you a business grant or whatever, we will first mentor you for 6 months. We must wash your mind. Do you understand? So sometimes the underlying issues don't actually cost so much money to implement. It just takes diligence and commitment to critical thinking to solve it. Thank you.
Already feeling the way I'm feeling. I don't know, maybe it's just me that is feeling the way I'm feeling. I'm so happy. Thank you so much. Bordering on that and even building further, you know, there are so many issues in our environment today, and because of how our world is evolving, there are different kind of issues. There are issues that our parents never struggled with that we are struggling with, or there are issues that they struggled with that they covered up, but our generation wants to bring it up out of the carpet, and it has made certain kind of new careers a lot more common, e.g. coaching and consulting. And that brings us to today. I want to really ask, you know, in our world today, I don't know if it's only me, like when God put in my heart to start coaching, I'm like, no, everybody is a coach on Instagram. Everybody's selling a course. Everybody's selling a package that can change your life. Everybody wants to teach you something. They even want to teach you how to even make gari, like teach you everything. I'm just like, as in, at what point, really, you know, can you say your journey of creating value, that's okay, you should monetize this thing? At what point should somebody even calling themselves? Because, you know, things like people like Tunde Dormada don't call themselves coaches. We're the ones that call them coaches. So at what point do you now monetize what you have, you know, in your journey of creating value?
Wow. First off, hello everyone. Sorry, can I have maybe? Thank you. Thank you. This is more like my voice. Okay. Well done, really. I love structure. I love that your team and yourself, you guys are entirely structured. A round of applause for them. Very impressive. There are some events where I'm contemplating should I be there or not, just because of lack of structure. And thank you for that wonderful teaching. Like, My mind is blown away and transformed. Thank you so much for that powerful word. May God keep increasing you. And so everyone seated there, even down there, well done. Well done. Let's always celebrate ourselves when we do well. Okay. So to the question, really, let me pick up from where she stopped. That let's stop addressing things from the surface, but to the roots. Because over the years, we focus on symptoms and not the root cause. So most times we try to fix symptoms and not the roots. So most time we try to, e.g., if someone have malaria, most times people want to treat cold, fever, but not fixing the malaria in itself. So over the years, a lot of people want to be trainers, public speakers. They like the spotlight, they like the fame, they like the attention it comes with. So for me, it's more like purpose was pressing or choking my neck. I don't like to be, if you can see when I got in, I was at the back, just went to be here, worship God, listen to God's word, and then go to my house. Do you understand? But for me, coaching was a fire in my bones, so to say. So coaching was really looking out for me. I didn't like the idea of training people and then leaving them. I wanted to do more for them. Just like she mentioned, 6 months session with a girl child. I stopped giving at Makoko. I've been on the journey for over 20 years, giving back to back for over 20 years. So I got the light of training, coaching as young as 10 years old. So it's been a long journey. So we've given a lot in Makoko, and I stopped giving until one day, one of them mentioned that, excuse me, when next are you coming to give us something? In my head, so it's just about you receiving. It's not really about the transformation. So I like the idea. So now you are rewiring my brain to see it differently. So thank you for that as well. So for monetization, really, I think there is no boundaries to when you can charge, but there are things you should pay attention to. Number one, be sure that you are called and certified for coaching, because a lot of people just want to coach. A lot of people just want to monetize. I think I'm one of the most priciest coach. Yes, young coach, very pricey. I even always recommend that people should not hire me and hire someone else for coaching, because number one, I am very strategic. I will pursue you till you become the best version of yourself. So number one thing you should learn is, one, be strategic. Number two, be certified. Like, know your worth. Some of your teaching today, know your worth. Understand that we are here on earth to solve crisis. Leadership is all about solving crisis. Coaching, ministry, all that we do is all about solving crisis. So we are here to solve crisis. That's another way you need to see coaching, not just about the monetization. The thing is, when you align, when you do everything right, proper structure, certification, systems, and all that, money will always look for you. It won't be you chasing after money. That's just the philosophy of life. Strangely so, that even when I'm not interested in making money, money will still come for me. So I love money, and money loves me as well. We are in a mutual relationship. Do you understand? And the reason why I charge, because a lot of people are like, why do you charge? But the thing is, a lot of people forget that we do a lot of things for free. E.g., mental health and faith tour that I do, mental health and faith across different parts of the world. We started in Abuja. We are going to Lagos, from Lagos to Uganda, to different countries of the earth. We'll pay for plane now. So what I do sometimes is to have a certain percentage in my business to fund ministry. But people don't see that part. They only see the part that you charge. Like, I don't charge churches on Sundays when they invite me. Like, I don't see that. I cannot charge God. Do you understand? But for people out there who really think, because some people, that may be their own source of income. Because there's a debate all over the internet, should some people charge or not? Really, if it's your source of income, please charge. If it's your source of income, it's according to thy faith. Me, I know that my own business can nurture me. My business can take me around the world, so I will not charge churches. All right? So for people out there, when can you charge? Number one, get your structure, your certification, your system, a good workflow process. Don't be scattered. Coach where they charge money and then doing Zoom call, your network is off. Embarrassing. Do you understand? Be put together. Don't be anyhow coach. And don't be hungry. There are some things you just think that this person needs prayer. Just pray over them. I do that a lot. Oh, this one is spiritual. Uncle, you have to fast too. So just pray over them. Not to take much of our time. Just have all those things have aligned and then we get into work. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. I think we'll stay with you. So how do you know that, okay, you know some of us, we like talking.
Yes.
We like talking. We flow. I remember talking to somebody so much and the person said, oh, you're so eloquent, you talk a lot. We like talking. So how do you know, okay, coaching is the right place for me to be, or consulting is the right place for me? This is something I can make a career path. Because the fact that you can do something very well does not necessarily mean you should be doing it. So how do you now know?
One, God's voice. God's voice. So if I even sit inside the plane, I see people wanting to talk to me, wanting to tell me about their problem. If I ever make mistake of using both, I already know that day I'll be a therapist. They must tell me something about themselves. So I already know that, number one, it's an assignment. It's a place where God has called me to be. I can be anywhere in this world, even unrelated places, maybe a restaurant. Someone is just coming to say, oh, this, oh, that. So I already see that part that, you know what, this is more like an assignment. It's a destiny. Your destiny will always run after you. So that's one thing I discovered. And number two, the reality of life is in Romans 8:19. How many of us remember Romans 8:19? For the earnest expectation of the creation waits for the manifestations of the sons of God. So just like you rightly preached, the whole world is waiting for our manifestation. So literally, God has embedded or encapsulated some of us in a way that no matter how we try to be any other thing, we are still who He wants us to be. So fortunately, that's it for me. I own a tech brand, TRLH brand, focused on training, lifestyle. We have a clothing brand. We have a tech hub where we have media and all that. But at the long run, it's still coaching that brings, see, sometimes our enlargement is in our obedience. See, until I obeyed for coaching, we never had office anywhere. So funny. So now we are in Abuja, we are in Lagos, we have a printing firm, we have a tech firm, and we are just 4 years old brand. Though. Just 4 years old brand. But sometimes your obedience will open mighty doors for you. So during the waiting phase as well, one thing you should pay attention to is that waiting does not diminish you. All right? God is not, there is no joy in God making you small. So when God is pruning you, when God is, because that's one thing I noticed about my life, it's all about pruning. I wanted to leave the country, it crashed. I was denied visa. I wanted to, okay, get out of this old coaching thing and all that. It's crashed. We lost over 30 million naira. So we started our business starting from minus 30 million. So everything I tried to leave the calling, but the moment I just, okay, God, you don't catch me, you don't catch me. Let me just stay where I am. And that's when everything just started working out well for us. So when you see the colors in Europe, Kenya, and all that, it's just because of obedience, really. So please, everyone here, if you are listening to me, whatsoever God had put in your hands, just be obedient. It's just, see, there's no strategy to it, though. Just be obedient. Just listen. Okay, don't listen for Rema alone. Listen for doing. Because a lot of church people, you are so weaponized. But if a conqueror never fights, a conqueror will never win. Some of you don't fight in the market space.
So good. not only me in my head that. Thank you so much. And I think I want to really highlight the fact that he said, where is God leading you? Where is God leading you? And there's something DDK teaches. DDK is my spiritual mother. And there's something she teaches in coaching. She says, she calls it premium gifts. She's like, there are gifts you have among your many other gifts that if you zone in on that one, it will open the door of every other thing in your life, right? And for some of us, it's that your mouth that is that gift, and it's going to open up the door for every other thing. And you must hone the skill. You must, be intentional about it, and God will help us. And regardless of where you are, the industry you are, money is important. If money is not important to you, please raise up your hand if money has not been relevant to nobody. So that's why we're asking Juliana the next question. What financial skills do young people need to develop for the coming days ahead, regardless of the industry they are? See, for me, it's very personal because in my profession, we know too much of stuff that sometimes we forget to, learn about money. And so you would easily find that, yes, people can enter into that situation where they have so much money, but they don't even really know how to, the skills around building money. So how can we? What skills should we be building when it comes to finances?
Hello. Okay. Please, is my voice audible enough? Thank you so much, Dr. Krimkat. Let me just give this overview about myself. I have energy, and I try to always manage it in any space that I am in. Okay, Krimkat said something. She said, you're here to build. So I am here specifically for some individuals. I am here because I want to start planting certain strategies in you, certain foundational pillars that you need to rise. I believe by next year you should do. Okay, so I believe next year, seeing every of us here, we shouldn't be at this same spot. We shouldn't be. It's going to be like an abnormality for us to be in this same spot. So I am here to take it a little bit down for us to zoom in ourselves and really see those small nitty-gritty habits that you need to start learning where you are. Okay, I work with a USAID-funded organization, right? But they didn't start where they are. And guess what? Trump had just shut down a lot of organizations. And what helped them, or what is still keeping us, is because of the mentality to diversify our investment, our sources of cash flows. So very important. Okay, so I'm going to just start by saying financial skills are very needed for every one of us here. So what are they about? It's about financial planning. It's about looking and zooming into your cash flows. So I'll start by saying financial planning. Financial skills are those set of skills and tools that aids you in utilizing your fund, your scarce resources. It seems like some of us, like we're in NGOs here because she is doing social impact. Of course, he is also doing that. So you see that you have limited funds for a lot of things you want to achieve in life. So you need financial discipline. You need financial planning to really do whatever thing you are set out to do. So I'm going to bring it down by saying, first of all, you need to track it's called cash management. You need to know your inflows and your outflows. What do you know? Since I entered the real estate sector, nobody is broke. Nobody is broke. I have seen a girl of 26 years coming to ask for a property of 120 million. So I was so shocked that I know this lady. But I didn't want to go there because I didn't want to lose my business. Let's first do the business, and later on I'll get to know her sources of funds and all of those things. So nobody is broke, but the skill we don't have is how to manage it. I think Miles Moore was the one that really trimmed down Genesis 1, when he said, God actually sent us to manage what he has given to us. He created man for management. So you need to know what are your various sources of income. You cannot do anything without knowing your sources of income. I remember when I was cutting with my friend, and I was with her for a year, and I started thinking. So that's why I said I'm here to build, because God is actually intentional about our lives. When I was seated there, I wrote something down quickly. God said, you are actually sent for some specific people here. So please, I want you to just pay attention. Not everything I will say will really make sense, but there are some vital points that you need for your next level of success, for your next level of work with God and in life in general. So I've spoken about financial planning. I've spoken about cash management. So track your inflows, very important. Track your outflows. So I was with her for a year, and I started thinking, how do I get my place in Abuja? We already know what rent costs. Okay, if you don't know, I'm here to help you. A self-con goes for 1.5 million, so you should know what you're doing. 1.2 million. If you want somewhere that you need to put extra 500,000. Sorry, please, I'll be calling figures because I'm here to really go down. So you need at least an average of like 300 to 500 to still furnish anywhere you get for like 800. I'm speaking of a self-con now. I can't play the voice note here, but she told me that, Juliana, I'm really tired. She has 800K. So sometimes I go down to help people get. So for me, real estate is not just about the commission, the percentage, and all of those things. I see some people, like, she literally told me, I can't do it. She needs to live where she is. She wants to enter into an estate, and all the properties there, 1.2. Self-con, very small, 1.2, 1.5. So she had to tell me that, oh, this is what she has. Do you get? So now that's where budgeting comes first. I know we all look for houses. The first thing agents will ask you is what? What's your what? Thank you. So they'll always ask you what's your budget. So it moves me down. After knowing your inflows, your outflows, your budget, anything in life. I believe before we got here rented for this event, we did a budget, right? A budget for here. A spreadsheet of budget, exactly. So you need budgeting. It's very important. In the NGO sector, they will tell you, oh, we have $600,000 for your organization. Draft out a budget first. You don't need to start a budget. A budget is very important. They want to see how you plan, how your work plan goes, your activities. So it is very important we do budget for anything we are doing. If I'm to ask anybody now, what's your budget to survive in a month? Food, transportation, airtime. Please, can you give us the answer?
Okay, transportation is not part, but like my budget in a month be 600K because I work remotely. So like I try to always plan and stay within the budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful. So she has a good handle of her budget and the way her finances flow. So it's very important we know our budget. Some of us, we don't really know, but we can try and coin out things. So it is very important you have budget for anything you're doing. I told myself for my birthday this year, I'm going to get a very good hair. That's because I've just been doing things. I don't even buy things for myself, that's the truth, because there are a lot of people to feed, there are a lot of people to also help us, right? So sometimes, but I know as an accountant, before I really thought about that money, I did market survey on top small wig. So it's very important you have budget for anything. So I'm going to talk about risk. So this is a financial skill that everybody should try to cultivate. Risk analysis and management, very important. So just like I was saying, what Trump did to us, oh boy, is really unfair. A lot of Nigerians were saying, doesn't he know that there are a lot of people, a lot of HIV patients that need their antiretroviral drugs and all of those things? How can he just cut the funding and all of those things? That's risk. You need to always be able to analyze your risk. Look at it. plan ahead. Okay, so just 2 months ago, they called me at home that my dad is this and that. I was so scared in the morning. That was on a Sunday morning. I was so scared. And what he needed to do, what I needed to do was he needed money. So what I quickly did was that I have like a Flex Naira account. So that is different from my normal operational account. Operational account, just my transport, airtime, feeding, and all of those things. Now, there's now another level of money I have that is for contingent needs. So I just quickly pulled out that emergency fund to help out. My sister is here, so she was even so shocked how I just moved. Like, money cannot be your problem at this issue, at this state that you are, because you have leveled out your finances. So it's very important. You cannot. Okay, this takes me to my next point called problem solving. Your money should be able to solve a problem for you. I remember my sister telling me that this your friend you're always giving money. We graduated from school together, and she would always call me all the time for money. She told me that, can't you look at it and is it really solving any problem? And because they will keep asking you. That's why I said most of us, we have money. We have money, don't worry, we have money. It's the management. And sometimes 1 million just comes in, 10 million just comes in, and you cannot really say how it has gone out from your account. So you need to zone in really on your finances, know your level of spending and expenditure. So that's how my sister was like, am I really solving this girl's problem? 1 week she don't come, she don't ask, I give. 2 weeks she don't come, I don't. And it's always a state of. She started telling me that, can't I ask for a business? Maybe a business she can start up and all of those things. So I think we all have those kind of people in our lives. So we should look at our money solving problems. Because how long am I going to keep giving her? Right? So look at the fact that, so I'm now starting to think of, what can she really do? And I told her, go and check out anything you can do. So she told me about an Access Bank plan for selling drugs, all of these herbal drugs and all. But it's not something I think would really be very good for her. So I would also still help her look for a business and all. Okay, so sorry, please. Okay, so lastly, I'll talk about, I think I've given out my point. Okay, I think that's fine for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Juliana. Juliana is who she says she is. She tries to keep her energy. That's what she's telling you. Okay, let's just take the another question from for Lady Abiola. So it's still on this, money thing. Because if you look at it, NGOs in Nigeria are like a cash cow. So as much as we are shouting that, oh my God, why would Trump do what he did? Some people might have caused it, right? So in our country today, everybody is, doing so much. When it comes to social impact, there's a lot of corruption. Let me just say it that way. What are the ethics that should guide you as a believer when you step into that space? And how can you do it sustainably? Because it's also financially very intensive. Like, sometimes the people that wake, just random conversations, and the people that wake Abiola up and she can't sleep for some bills, is just sick. So how do you now do that sustainably? And at the same time, what sort of ethics should you bind yourself by when you step into that space?
All right, thank you so much. So before I answer my question, I wanted to just make a contribution to what she said, because sincerely speaking, one of the things I find with Christians is we don't know how to manage money. We don't. So 2 books, please, if you are 25 years and above. No, if you are 20, you should have read these 2 books. Number 1, Money Psychology. All right. And number 2, Richest Man in Babylon. Have you heard any of those books before? Who has read it? Okay, some people have read it. Who remembers what they read in it? All right, thank God. So please actually read it, especially Richest Man in Babylon. If you struggle with the language, there's a revised version that is in simple English. All right, you would understand a lot of things that she's just said. All right, so to my question, so you said the ethics that should bind our work as believers and also the sustainability part. I remember I said I started at 16 years old, right? One of the shockers of my life that woke me up to realize the space I had just entered was we went to see one of the community chiefs on water, right? Bales, they call themselves Bales. And we were telling him about a project we wanted to do, one of the sharing J Rice projects, and just wanted to get his blessing. And he said, no wahala now, you know how we do things, just package it, because basically the understanding that is in the community is charities come, they get a lot of money, then they just buy some things, then they take it there, they distribute a few to some kids, take pictures, and then leave the rest with the ballers, that the ballers should share it. But we all know what happens, right? Even some churches in that community. So I understand why you stopped, it was one of the reasons why we stopped giving as well. We only give if someone intentionally says, I have a birthday, can you help me? Like, okay, yeah, no problem, right? But we don't waste our money in that way, and it is actually wastage of money, sincerely speaking, right? Because they live from handout to handout, right? So ethics that should bind you. Number one, you are going to give an account to God. See, when it comes to charity money, it is not a temptation for me. If you've read your Bible and you've seen how passionate God is about the poor, the needy, the oppressed, the widows, you know that you should not play with any money he gives you for their cause. Do you understand? This is a life or death situation. It's either you suffer it on this earth, and when you stand before him, or when you get there, you will face the music. Do you understand? And it's not be music to dance to. So that's number one thing for me. I don't play with it. Number two thing I think I would say regarding ethics is your validation doesn't come from their appreciation. See, one of the things that we are a non-profit, but we have a prayer team in Elevate with a kabash, because it's a very spiritual thing. I have gone to, again, this is the years of giving things out. Witches were in front of me and they were casting spells on me. And we gave them food and we gave them extra bags of rice. Do you understand? And I thought, and I was like, imagine if I was not a believer and God did not expressly send me here. You would give, and natural human instinct is when you give, you want to hear thank you, God bless you, my child. But when they swear for you, like, look at what you even gave us, you want to turn away and go. But then without understanding that the Lord sent me here, I give an account to him. It is him that I am giving my report to, will keep you in obedience in that place. I'm saying this because, see, this social impact thing, I've been doing it for about 8 years now, right? And I do work in public policy as well with international institutions, and I can tell you for a fact it is difficult. There are times where I say, see, in my own case, I'm doing it not as a career per se, but because God sends me there, so I can live. It's not putting food on money or food on my table. I can actually live, but God sent me there. Do you understand? So we're bounded by a very different set of instructions. It's like Dr. Krimkat mentioned. This is consecration. You don't joke with the purity of the fire that you carry with obedience to God. Don't. Do you understand? I think maybe number 3 thing I would say as well is, and this one pertains to your team, because I like to say social impact is 20% impact and 80% operations and structure and strategy, right? Be a good leader. How many of us here are involved in social impacts? Just I want to have an idea. All right, I can see a couple of people. How many of us have volunteered before? Okay, number of people. Well, how many of us feel like God is leading us towards social impacts? Because that's a very Christian thing. All right, but I want to say this. some weeks back, a member of someone that was in my non-profit, because one of the instructions God gave me was he would send people he wants to use to start organizations to come to me to learn as volunteers. So they usually stay about 1 to 2 years. I know many of the people that have passed through Elevate have started their own thing. So she had just left and she came back to me and said, Abiola, I need help. My volunteers are not responding. This. I said, all right, send me the issues you are facing, then I'll respond with VNs. She said, okay, I'll do that right away. I'll do that from today. It has been about 3 weeks now. No response. It was this morning, I even remember that. I think this girl, I just sent her emojis with 2 eyes. And in my mind, I was like, what do you expect from your volunteers? You see, if you're a leader, this is very important. If you're a leader, just know this, you are the ceiling of your team. Your team members can only go as high as you are. That's the honest truth. In your consecration, in your conduct, it might not necessarily be in terms of your expertise, because of course you would always have people that know more than you do. But in terms of how you steward the vision, your team members, especially if they are volunteers that are not being paid, they will only go as high as you are. I'm here in Abuja right now. I have a team in Lagos. We're building teams in Kano State, teams in Ibadan, other places now. The last time I was in Lagos was about 2-3 years ago. I'm barely on ground. Do you understand? And it's because when my team members see me, they see an example of someone that is committed to the vision. They play with this thing. Do you understand? So, and this is not even just in terms of social impact. You people, you might have worked in companies where you know your boss is a good man, your boss is a good woman. I might have also worked in companies where they pay you high, but your boss is a wicked human being. You know when Bible says deliver from wicked and unreasonable people, your boss is one of those people, right? And you see how you are so motivated when your boss is a good person. You go the extra mile, even if the money doesn't add up. You understand? So that's very important in social impact. Now, to the aspects of sustainable finance, let me just tell you, let's just come clean. Some people will start giving you strategies on grants and all of that, but just know this: the fact that everyone's applying for grants tells you one simple thing: it's very competitive. You will get some, you will lose a lot. All right. So number one thing as a believer, I will tell you: know how to abase and how to abound. Know how to abase and how to abound. See, when COVID year hit, people in non-profits, in social impact, were just losing their jobs left, right, center. Organizations were packing up. People that said, the Lord sent me, told me this. You ask them today, they've jackpot. Do you understand? But one thing that my team, every member of my team knows how to do is when we are putting a budget together, we have different kinds of budgets. We have one of, if we are bounding. Do you understand? We have the one of, if we don't get our funding targets, these projects must still go on. What is the minimum viable version of this project that we can deploy? Do you understand? And then number 3 thing, we also have long-term goals. So for example, and this is one thing I'll tell anybody that's going to social impact, I like to say social purpose organizations. I don't necessarily sway towards non-profit, because let me tell you, if you continue the non-profit way of things, there's only so long you will run, except you are being funded by a billionaire. That's just the other truth. It is not a sustainable model. It is not a sustainable model. All right. So I would advise, always think, what aspect of our organization can we monetize? Right now, we realize that we have a lot of knowledge. My goodness, Elevate has a lot of knowledge. We have solutions that work. So one of the things that we're doing now, okay, one affordable way we are expanding our impact is through the social franchise model. All right. So we don't have to centralize our operations. We deploy our models to people that we train and they implement it. We teach them fundraising strategies. We help them secure major partnerships as well centrally that can then deploy funding to them. But second thing as well is we are building our own learning platform where we will teach you about social impact, right? Because the truth is that I think the most quality, thank you, the most quality social impact training, sorry, you can clap for Jesus. The most quality social impact training I've seen in that's available to Africans, I think it costs about $300. I'm not talking about fellowships and all of that, but like sit down, learn from a social impact school. it is that expensive, and it is not even necessarily so tailored towards African markets, right? Towards African change makers, because it's a different climate completely to engage social impact here in Africa, right? So we're building that from data-driven decision making, social impact leadership, how to manage your energy as a leader, because those things matter, right? The science of communicating vision. See, have you heard some people when they speak, it's like they put juju in their mouth and you hear them and you just fall in love. You just want to keep hearing them and hearing them. There's a science to it, all right? Coaches are exceptional at that. All right, so those little things, you need them as a social impact leader. So that's how we are spreading our tentacles into a more social entrepreneurship model. Thank you.
I don't want to go. Time has finished, but I don't. Okay, let me just ask Abiola one last question, and then we'll come back to Tunde and then wrap up with Juliana. I don't know about you. Ministry is very tasking. It's very but social impact is draining. Mentally, spiritually, physically, financially. But you have almost spent 10 years doing it. You've not stopped. How? How do you stay at something like that for that long?
God sent me. I don't think you understand. Like, let me give you a backstory, right? I was 16 years old. Brilliant child. The kind of child that, let me blow my trumpet a bit, please. I was best behaved from primary school till I finished secondary school. So I was one of those good students, you understand? And then I got to teenage life crisis. I'm like, I'm in England, I'm doing well in school, but there has to be more to life. There has to be more to life. So God told me, help people. That was the first time I ever heard God. And he said, I want you to help people. I was like, okay, if I see a woman crossing the streets then, and I see her carrying things, an old woman, I will run and carry it for her. That was how I was helping people. And it sounds very silly, but let me tell you one thing about hearing God. Your ability to discern God and his willingness to give you more information is dependent on your obedience to the small leadings that you get. Let me tell you, because of that, eventually God led me to a video about Makoko and he said, I want you to go and help them. I was like, okay, we've graduated. I called my parents. I said, Mommy, Daddy, when I get back to Nigeria, I want to come and help these people. Because my dad was like, wait till they do this one. But thank God, they knew at that age I do hear God. Do you get? So I came back and I told them, I said, God said to help you. Now, why am I telling you this? The assignment came with a resource, supernatural passion. Do you understand? When God sends you certain things that will be difficult for others, it just comes easily to you. See, it got to a point, December last year, I just finished my NYSC in January, by the way. And December, I was like, okay, Lord, I'm finishing my NYSC. What is the next step and all of that? And he was showing me massive things. I was like, okay, if you're going to help, if I'm going to do this, chances are I have to be unemployed because my job will take my time. I said, okay, you know what, Lord, if you want to do this, this, and this, please give me a job that is somewhat remote, especially on Fridays, so I can have Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I got that job. The job, Jones, my Fridays are free. No, it's busy, don't get me wrong. Dr. Kripkas can tell you, my job is very, very hectic, right? But then the point is, I keep running because I'm not running on the energy of the flesh. Do you get? Not by power, not by might, but by what? By the Spirit of the Lord. So it's the zeal of the Lord will perform it. That's literally it. It doesn't feel like 10 years. It doesn't, sincerely speaking. And then second thing now, I've explained the foundation. Number two thing, I have a team. Now, Elevate on his own has about 30 core members. And some people boast of 150 volunteers. I'm not one of them. If I don't need 150 people, I'm fine. Every 2 years, I have a culture. My whole team, thank you for your service. It has been great having you, but we don't think we're aligned anymore. Do you understand? This is the way out, right? But and the reason I do that is because I preserve the culture in the team. All I need to do is just give them the platform to fly. Do you understand? So Elevate is running not because I'm a superhuman. It's not. I'm not a superhuman. I have amazing people. I have trained them enough to think similar to me, such that I think the last time I ever put together a strategy document was 2023. Sincerely, I put together one for 5 years. I called my team leaders. I taught them every single part of it. I say, okay, interpret it according to your team. Send it back to me. Correct them. No, you did not see this one. And see, I'm training them prophetically. They don't realize it. But that's what I'm doing as well. Do you get? So now, every single year, they give me about 20 pages interpreting it for the year. Quarterly, we review it. Where have you gotten to? You take ownership. We did not achieve this because why? Number one, maybe the leadership was faulty. Number two, maybe we brought in the wrong people. So we're constantly auditing the team. That's the only way the vision can be sustainable. Because otherwise, right now, you see me blood, tears, and sorrow. Because it's very draining. I agree. Right. And last thing I would say, sir, is something DDK said once. She said there's a difference in chaotic stress and creative stretch. At every point in your life, you must know what bucket you are under. Some people, you find some things difficult because God did not send you there. There's a lady that I was talking to, she was telling me, oh, she feels like God wants her to start an NGO. And as I said, it's a very Christian thing. God did not send you to start an NGO. It's okay if God wants you to do something kind for somebody. If God, like that lady that is selling corn, God just says, give her 5K. Maybe the intervention she needs at that point is, do you understand, transport back home. It is fine. Don't enter problem that God did not send you into. Do you understand? Save yourself, seriously. Or just volunteer for 1 year and know that you have given your quota and rest. Thank you.
Thank you so much, so much. It's such a great. I'm just having fun. I'm not even going to lie. So we're going to go to Juliana. But if you have questions for this particular panel, please can you put them down? One of the ushers is going to be standing behind you with her hand waving, and so you can give it to her when you write it down. So we'll just go to Lady Juliana, and I'll try to merge two of your questions into one. So it's you just got into real estate, like, is it up to 2 years? No. And I don't even want to say anything, but you have refused to show me the way, but I'll keep that conversation private. But you've done so well, like remarkably well. I don't know, Juliana is one of those people that you I think they say have the Midas touch. Anything they touch just turns to gold. You're like, but everybody was there before you. Why is your own now extra? So I want to ask, for so many people, when they think of real estate, it's like a big industry. They're like, no, it's not for us. It's for those big guys selling houses. Well, how much? Me, the highest money I've ever made is 500K. How come I'm selling a house of 150 million, 250 million? One day I saw Juliana selling a property of how many billion? I said, this is not for us. She knows who she's talking to. So how do you now speak to somebody who wants to enter that kind of industry? Is the barrier of entry low? What should they do? How should they enter? That's another thing. And then what mistakes do you see people, especially young people, make when they want to start a business, a new business, that you think it's not good for them?